Hi, this is James. Welcome to Slaying Sober, where we tell stories of addiction, recovery, and hope. Wherever you are in your sober journey, know that you do not stand alone. Welcome back to Season 2 of Slaying Sober. I've enjoyed a little breather over the school holidays to strengthen my connection with my family and enjoy some rest and relaxation. But I am back and I am here to spread the message of hope and recovery. I'm really excited for this season. I've got a bunch of really interesting guests, so there's lots to look forward to. Today, we are interviewing someone who you may know. I read an article about this guy a few weeks ago and then stumbled across his social media. He spoke about having a year off the beer and all the benefits that it gave him, and I thought I've just got to speak with this guy. Today, I'm incredibly grateful to be joined by Tom Rockliff. Tom has played over 200 games of AFL football, captaining the Brisbane Lions and winning multiple best and fairests, as well as being awarded an All-Australian jumper. He's a proper good footballer, but that's not what we're discussing today. We're talking about his decision to give up the grog. At the end of his AFL career, Tom had a newfound freedom, where it was easy to pick up a beer after work, after mowing the lawn, celebrating, or commiserating. He fell into unhealthy eating and drinking and wanted to make a change. Whilst navigating a divorce, Tom sought a break from alcohol to improve his mental clarity. Today, Tom is 15 months alcohol-free and, in his own words, is the best version of himself. We discuss his early life in Benalla, football club drinking cultures, and the tools that he uses to live a fulfilled life after football. Tom challenges the Australian drinking culture and asks, what's the worst thing that can happen by stopping drinking? This one is for the sober curious, for the football fans, and for those looking at making a meaningful change to their life. Please enjoy this wonderful conversation with Tom Rockliff. G'day, Tom. Thanks for joining us on Slaying Sober.
No worries, James. Nice to be here.
Good on you, mate. Tell us about life growing up in Benalla.
Yeah, I mean, dream childhood, really. Grew up in country Victoria. Family, mum and dad, older brother and sister. Played local sport, grandparents there. Nan and Pop had the local pub in Benalla. Ma and Pa had a farm as well out there, Angus Stud Farm. So got the best of both worlds, or all worlds, I suppose. And growing up in a small country town, it's footy in winter, cricket in summer, and everything in between. And cousins and lots of family around. It was really good.
Very good, mate. So did you get into that pub quite early?
I mean, we were in and around. Their mum worked in there a fair bit as well. So, I mean, you grow up in that environment and around that. Just one of those things, I suppose, that you get accustomed to. They didn't have it forever. I think they sort of got rid of it mid-90s, so I was still only reasonably young when they were out of pubs and whatnot. But it's what you do, I suppose, in country towns. Your parents work hard during the week and they go enjoy a few bets and a few beers or whatnot on a weekend, and particularly around footy clubs as well. I mean, you train during the week and then play and perform, and then you go back to the clubhouse, and if you play an away game, you have a beer with the opposition before you leave, and umpires, or your local club rooms.
So was that your first experience of drinking around footy clubs?
I would say so. I think that's probably where, obviously my parents and stuff did it, and in family environments. I mean, when you're a young kid and around older siblings and older friends as well, it's easy enough to do. I think I first had a beer when I was maybe 12 in the backyard or whatever. it's what you do. You experience, you have half a can and you fall over type
Yeah.
scenario. But I think once you sort of get to that, I started playing under 18s footy
Yep.
when I was around 14, around 15, sorry. And I mean, it's just what you do, what you're accustomed to, what you're around. And I mean, you've got 18-year-olds in the team, you right down to sort of 15-year-olds. So
Yep.
it was just what you did. You get a bus home and whatnot. You try. I mean, they'd all try and stop you from doing it, the coaches and parents and whatnot. But growing
Yep.
up in country towns, it was just what you did.
Yeah. So did you play seniors footy as a teenager?
Yeah, I did. So I think I debuted when I was about 16 for the
Yep.
Vanilla Saints, and then broke my leg and played as a 17-year-old as well. It's probably lucky in the fact that happened. I probably didn't drink as much. Obviously, wanted to focus on footy and whatnot. So as a 17, 18-year-old, like I'd have beers and whatnot, but not to that level. And I think as a sort of 18-year-old, I had pretty much most of the year off. It's been a draft year and whatnot, and focused on the footy.
Yeah, it's funny. You have a bit of time off, mate, and these magical things happen.
Yeah, it certainly does. So, I mean, yeah, one of the...
What about drinking culture in an AFL club?
Yeah, I mean, it's there. It's probably not as much anymore, and everyone has their own decision. So it's not as if you're forced to drink. But there's certainly, when I started, it was there. You train hard, play hard type scenario, and being a country boy, that's what we did. I mean, no one forced you to drink or anything like that, but you'll often see 18, 19-year-olds come in that they may not be big drinkers, but a couple of years later, they certainly can be. So it's just, I mean, it's just the way it goes. And I don't know, maybe there is a little bit of peer pressure. Maybe it is to fit in somewhat. I got into a habit of thinking that I needed it, particularly after games. You play night games, couldn't sleep. So what do? You have a few beers to ease your mind and relax. You have so much during that game or in the lead up to the game, whether it be Nodos, salt tablets, a lot of stuff through your system. You sort of, that was my outlet. That's what I thought I needed. Looking back now and where I'm at now, I certainly appreciate that I didn't. But I mean, that's what I knew and what I felt like I needed at the time. So
and so you played for Brisbane. You moved away from home pretty young.
Yeah, moved away. So back end of being an 18-year-old. So straight out of school, I think I had my graduation one night, and then the next day I was on a plane up to Brisbane for a couple of days. So I moved in with another couple of guys. Was probably lucky. Guy by the name of James Polkinghorn at the time. He wasn't a massive drinker, but like you hang out with the teammates that are your age, and we sort of encourage each other along the way. And if you're not playing senior footy, it's easy enough to do after games.
Yeah, I can imagine. Like 40, 20-year-old blokes in a away from home, more or less.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you're all sort of finding your own way. And being in Queensland, you're pretty much all interstaters, particularly back in sort of 2008, 2009. There wasn't a lot of Queenslanders playing footy. I reckon maybe 3 or 4 on the list. So everyone sort of, that's what we did. And you sort of all navigating your own journey and your own path, and you're trying to figure out where you fit, I suppose, and whatnot. And I mean, it was great. Like, you train really hard during the week, have a few beers on the weekend during pre-season, flows into season when you're playing. And I mean, a lot of it, I don't know whether we talk about the drinking sort of culture in Australia and whatnot, but it sort of becomes accustomed just to what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you say, after the game, you finish up playing footy and you might have a few beers. You'd probably notice that some of the boys want to hang around a bit longer. Was that one of you? You were one of those guys?
Yeah, I suppose. Like, we'd have a few beers or whatever, or get out of there, go home, have a shower. And I mean, when you got no one else around and you've got just your teammates and you're all having a few beers, and that's what you do. You have a few beers and you go out. And being in Queensland as well, AFL footy certainly wasn't prominent up here then, and we were sort of towards the bottom of the ladder. But it was easy enough to go out, have a few beers, not get recognised, and have a good time.
Yeah, very good, very good. Now, your football career, did it end a bit abruptly?
Yeah, so I ended up with blood clots in my calf and in my lungs down at Port Adelaide. So, I mean, I was sort of at the back end anyway, playing some sample footy at the time, went up for a contest, came down, hurt both my knees, and then, got some blood clots. So sort of put me out for 6 to 8 months. You can't play contact sport being on blood thinners. And, as I said, I was sort of out of contract, and at the end anyway, probably had enough. And, that was sort of it for me.
Yep. And how did that look or feel for you?
I mean, we had a second kid on the way. I was married at the time, second kid on the way, so I was pretty content with where life was at. We went to a prelim final the year before, and would have been nice to win it in 2020, but still feel like that's sort of the one that got away. But, I mean, it's just a custom, and you've got to try and change. I mean, you go from being told where to be every minute of every day when you're playing footy to nothing at all. So it was just navigating that and working out what was next for me. I sort of went down the media path to a degree, and then finance opportunity arose its head from my ex-father-in-law now. He was in demolition for most of his life, and a chance conversation to get into asset finance, and sort of it was a good transition to be able to get back to Queensland where we wanted to come.
Yeah, exactly right. So you moved into employment pretty quickly after football?
Sort of had 12 months navigating. I did some local radio down in Adelaide, Dead Set Legends, with Triple M, and some radio commentary, a little bit of work with Neds, which I still do now as well. So a footy podcast with Alistair Lynch and a couple of guys in there. So it's just about, finding what works. And, I mean, I'm pretty content and happy with where I've landed. Obviously started my own company back in October, Rockliff Finance, which we focus on commercial assets. So equipment finance is sort of the bread and butter. And I sort of had to navigate that period. And as I said, it can have its challenges. There's no doubting that. You go from, as I said, you're instructed where to be every minute of every day almost, with a microscope over you. You know how far you've walked, ran, wiped your bum type scenario. Nothing at all. So it was, I mean, I was probably lucky that I had a foundation behind me and could work out exactly what I wanted to do. It had its challenges, and there's no doubt that probably drinking increased through that period. You've been a professional sportsman for 13 years straight out of school, and you probably feel like you've earned it. And there's no doubt that I drank more, ate more, became really unhealthy, put on a lot of weight through a period of time.
There's a certain sense of freedom, I guess, once you finish AFL football.
Yeah, it certainly is. So it was just navigating that, and you go to a dinner midweek once you've retired, have a few beers, and it was nothing then. It was just part of what you did. You could wander down, have a few beers at the end of the day or whatnot, and certainly fell into that habit later on. I mean, I wasn't necessarily drinking every day, but I mean, you could drink Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and get away with it.
Yep, yeah. And so, did you ever think that you had a problem with drinking?
No, I don't think so. I think I always sort of had it under control and management. I don't know, you'd probably have to speak to people around me at those times, but look, if it wouldn't have been, I could not drink, but you can get into those habits, and I think we do as a society get into those habits around drinking and just accepting it for what it is. So, I mean, I don't think so. Like, I wasn't an everyday drinker, but as I said, you can certainly extend the weekend out, and when Thursday rolls around, when there's Thursday night footy or NRL on, you certainly can make an excuse to have a beer.
Yeah, when I read your post about you having a year off the beer, which inspired this conversation, I think you related that anything you do, that it's a good excuse for a beer, whether it's a game of golf, Thursday night footy, a celebration, a commiseration, all these sorts of things. It becomes, I think you said, Mexican night and a Corona. It becomes part of the culture of Australian males, doesn't it?
It certainly does. And, I mean, I see a psychologist, still continue to see one for some other stuff away. I think it's always probably important, and I'd encourage everyone out there to go and see someone. I mean, we work on everything within our lives. We always try and increase our knowledge and become better. We go to the gym to get a better body, to feel fit. But the one thing that we often forget about is our mind, and psychologists are outstanding for that. And brain training, it's the most powerful thing I think we've got in our body, and we often forget about it. There's such an important thing, I think. And he explained it to the best to me about drinking and how it's involved in our life from the day we're born to the day we die. And he broke it down for me in these steps. He said, what happens when you have a baby? And it's probably not as prevalent now, but the dad goes out, wets the baby's head. So from the day you're born, you're associated with drinking, whether you know it or not. You don't as a baby, obviously, but you have your first birthday. Mum gets to have her first alcoholic drink because she's breastfed for the first 12 months, or then she can have a wine, and then it progresses from there, obviously, up until your 18th birthday. You're searching for that. You have your first drink, and then from there it becomes, as I said before, you're having a steak. So, I better have a nice red wine to complement that steak. I'm going to Mexican. I better have a Corona or a margarita, to the point where you call your mate, I've had a shit day at work. All right, let's go have a beer at the pub. We'll have a beer. I had a good day at work. Or I settled that deal. I'm going to reward myself with a drink. I got a promotion. I have a drink. I got sacked. I have a drink. So it just is all in that. I'm cooking a barbecue. I've got to have a beer. The footy's on. I've got to have a beer. I just mowed the lawns. I'm going to have a beer. So it just becomes a part of your psychology and whatnot. You get married, the celebration, you have beer, milestone birthdays. Yeah. You have beers all up until the day you die, which is what does everyone do? When you die, you get buried into the ground. You have a wake. I mean, from the day you're born to the day you die, everything, particularly in Australia, is associated with drinking. Whether we like it or not, it's just that way.
And that's a really good way of putting it. And thanks for sharing that. Sort of reflect on that, because any time that you consume alcohol, you're actually altering the way that you truly feel. So it's sort of a false way of looking at life, really. It affects your feelings.
It certainly is. And the other one that I think you can think about it is when you're drinking alcohol, you're getting that high and you're feeling good on the way up. So when you're doing the event, you're feeling good. And then post that, once you stop, you get into that mindset of flattening out and feel really bad and anxious and all of that. The way to complement that, and the way to do it in reverse for me, and I'm sure it is for most people out there as well, is exercise. If you exercise, particularly in the morning, if you go for a run, it feels shit at the time, but for the rest of the day, you have those good endorphins and you feel really good about it. So you have that for an extended period, 8-10 hours of feeling good. Conversely, when you're drinking, you feel good when you're doing the event, but then you feel shit after it, where when you exercise, you feel shit when you do it, but you feel really good after it.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. You mentioned there about the physical health, and you said you're seeing a psychologist for the mental health side of things. Post-football, that would have been a lot to deal with. How was the mental health coming out of professional sport?
Yeah, I was pretty good, I think. I mean, I was lucky I had a couple of kids, and they certainly entertain you and whatnot. And I mean, looking back now, I probably wasn't happy, and I was in a relationship that I wasn't happy in. Neither of us were happy. Went through a reasonably messy divorce that sort of is still ongoing and whatnot. But yeah, certainly reflecting now, I wasn't at my best. I feel like I am now. I feel like I'm in a really, really good spot. I think I'm the best version that I've ever been of myself, and continue on that daily, which is the most important thing. But yeah, it's certainly affected. Whether I acknowledge that or not, probably not. But I thought I was. I thought I was living a good life, a life that I was happy with. But yeah, I certainly wasn't. As I said, drinking too much, eating too much, not exercising, not being at my absolute best. And I think you don't understand that until you stop that routine, those bad habits of drinking and whatnot. Like, I've got a lot of mates who would think that they function at their absolute best and work their asses off it, and I've got no doubt that they do, but I think they would have different levels and gears within themselves if they were to give it away. I mean, we think we're doing our absolute best, but I
Yeah.
don't think you can function at a high level, when you've got alcohol in your system, whether it be the next day or whatnot.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Was there a particular one-off event, or what led you to stop drinking?
Yeah, I think going through the divorce, and there was certainly some stuff that happened, and I needed mental clarity for me.
Mm.
And when I stopped, it wasn't to be forever. It was like I just need to
Yep.
be really mentally sharp at this point in time.
Yeah.
And after sort of the first 3 weeks, it became really easy. But those first
Yeah.
3 weeks, it was like, I'll work from home as well. It was easy
Mm.
enough to crack a beer at 2 or 3 in the afternoon, and worked hard, got
Yep.
everything done, and then fall into the trap of you end up having 6, 8, 10 beers, and then you wake up a little bit dusty. But once I got through
Yep.
that and started to see the benefits of not drinking, it was so much better. I mean, I would react not poorly, but the world was ending if something went wrong at work or didn't go to the
Yes.
way I needed. It was shit, toys out of the cot. How do I solve this now the same issue would happen today, and it's like, that's fine. Come up with a solution reasonably quickly. You're not as emotive to it. You're a lot more balanced. You're not as riding a wave of emotion that is sky high to rock bottom. It's consistently good.
Yeah.
It's consistently high. It's consistently getting better. And I know that you probably referenced that post that I put up, but I certainly feel that. I feel like I'm a better father. I'm certainly more attentive. I'm a lot more on with them. I go to bed when they go to bed, lay in bed, probably don't fall asleep as quick as they do. I mean, a 3-year-old and a 7-year-old, they go to sleep a lot quicker when they're with me, but
Yeah.
I can wake up at 5 a.m. I can be attentive. I'm certainly a lot more mentally sharper, come up with solutions a lot quicker. I'm more consistent. I don't sweat the small stuff. I sleep better. There's no anxiety the morning after. You're not waking up on edge. I work harder. I'm more efficient. So I feel like I can get a work day, an 8 to 10 hour work day done in 3 to 4 hours. And it gives me that freedom and flexibility to be able to do the things that I enjoy doing, whether it be going for a run, go and sit in a cafe, enjoying the small things in life and the little things of being able to walk along the water. Exercise comes easier. I don't need as much sleep. If I have 4 hours sleep, so I'll give you an example. I worked down at the Gold Coast on Friday night for Triple M. I did the game. By the time you get out of there and get home, I didn't get home until 12:30. By the time you wind down from the drive, do your routine, it's probably 1:30. Wake up at 5 o'clock, so I've had 3.5 hours, 4 hours sleep, and I'm fine. I'm cherry ripe. I mean, you certainly get a little bit tired in the afternoon, but if that was going to bed at 1:30 from a night of piss, I wake up at 9 o'clock. I'm sluggish. I go and eat shit. I go, it takes a drain. Half my day's gone before anything, but I don't have that now. I feel like I'm an overall better person. I feel like I'm more content. I feel like I'm happier for giving it away. And I mean, I'm not here to tell everyone to stop drinking or do anything like that. Everyone has their own decisions in life, and if you had mentioned to teammates or people throughout my life that I would have stopped drinking, they would have probably gone, "There's no way he loves a beer as much as the bloke next to him in a bar." And I can still do that. I'm probably lucky in some front that my personality type is fine. I can still go and sit in a pub now and chew fat and talk shit with the best of them and watch the races or play pool. But I'll just have a soda water with lemon and ice, and I'm more than content. When I've had enough, I can jump in the car and drive home. I don't have to worry about Ubers. I don't have to worry about lines. I just do what I've got to do. I mean, I've just got to worry about the speed limit and making sure I don't use my phone when I drive. But,
That's it. And you get to wake up fresh the next morning and go through your healthy routine and do it all over again.
Yeah, so, I've been lucky in the fact that a close friend of mine, Paul, I see him as a mentor. He'd hate that I would say that about him. but
Yep.
it's been fantastic in the fact that he's been there, and we often have conversations about it, like just the upside to not drinking, and being more attentive. And he always says a great thing, like, because I said to him, like, we speak about would you drink again and whatnot, and he's probably in the same boat. He doesn't say like never, because he thinks that if he does, and it feels like he's let himself down, in the fact. But I don't think he will ever drink again. And his famous quote is, "I'm yet to see a benefit to it," because I sort of mentioned to him that if my kids asked to have a beer with me on their 18th or whatnot, how would I deal with that? And I'm not sure how I would at the moment. I think that I would probably say, "Oh, of course, like I've had beers before. It's not the end of the world." But he said, like, what's the benefit to it? No one can give. I'm still yet to hear it. No one's given him a benefit. What's the benefit to having a beer?
What's the upside?
What's the positive? And people can say, oh, it can be more relaxed in environment. Not sure. Do they have better sex? Do they have better sex? I don't think so. I'm not like there's no benefit to it. And his simple answer would be, well, look, I love and respect you. It's not that I love you less if I don't have a beer with you on your 18th birthday. I'm here to celebrate. I'm here in person. Like there is no benefit. In my opinion, I'm not sure whether you see one, James, or if anyone's ever given you a benefit to having a beer.
No, look, I haven't as much. But like you said, like everyone's got to tread their own path, don't they? One thing that I've sort of noticed is, you know, my sobriety sees me as part of a 12-step program. And what I have noticed is I've always looked up, like you've got Paul there that you can look up to as a mentor that's walked that path before you. I've always struggled to have a mentor or a guiding light in my life, but I have found that in the rooms that I'm in, there's a lot of people with a lot of spiritual insight, and they're very serene and they're very calm through their sobriety. So I think there's something in that for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and as you said, everyone goes on their journey and in different ways. And I mean, speaking up about it, I ran into another guy that used to play AFL footy. He's a coach now at one of those teams that I spoke about. And he said, I've seen your post about not drinking for 12 months. He goes, I'm coming up to 6 months. He goes, it's the best thing I ever did. He goes, just energised. He's got your young family as well. The energy that you have to spring out of bed. He said that's the biggest thing that he's noticed being in Queensland. He goes, you just spring out of bed. You feel so much better. Yeah. You've got kids, and he goes, the energy that he has now that he's stopped. I don't know his story or whatnot, but just a passing conversation in the hallways after the game, and it was good to hear. And I think there's been a lot more of it. I think we'll see probably more. I think the kids these days don't have it as much, and I mean,
as in there's not as much peer pressure. There's not as much in footy clubs.
I don't think so. I mean, the government as well makes so much money out of it. You see that I think Bundy have the ads of how much they have to give the government for a barrel, and it's in their interest for everyone to do it. But I mean, it's the other thing as well. Like drinking leads to all the poor choices. It always starts with drinking, in my opinion. From there, whether it be gambling, you may have beers, then you go and gamble more. You start drinking, people associate smoking with it. Drugs, all the rest of it. I mean, through COVID as well, you hear that the domestic violence and stuff skyrocketed. People stuck at home, they sit at home and drink, and then those things spiral from there. So, in my opinion, I don't know whether it's backed up with anything, but I think everything starts with drinking and then leads to the poor choices from there.
Totally agree.
Yeah. That's. I think there's so much to be said for drinking and looking at your drinking choices.
Absolutely. Do you miss footy?
Yes and no. I miss the locker rooms. I miss the everyday banter going with the common goal of trying to achieve something special as a group. So that side of it, I don't miss the small stuff with it, the meetings and stuff. I mean, the training was outstanding as well. The best times throughout footy clubs is obviously game day, time spent in the change rooms and the training. I mean, getting fit,
Yeah.
you're getting paid to stay fit and work out and work hard with your teammates. So I would say yes and no. I love my life now. I'm so content with where I'm at and what I do. And we were lucky. I got exposed to the Resilience Project as well through Footy.
Yeah.
Hugh came in at Port Adelaide.
Yeah.
I still continue that now. And in this down times that I've had in life, I think being able to fall back on that, I fill out the journal every day that he's got. And it's just a good way to check in, I think, at the end of the night. Set yourself some goals around, and they're only little things. It's like the mindfulness. So whether that's going for a walk for 10 minutes, being outside, different stuff like that, checking in, making sure you eat well, you exercise throughout the day, checking in with your sleep. But then it's a couple of small questions, and I'm sure it's different. I still use a book from 2020, I think, but I just follow on and just pick up a new notepad now and write it. But it's just about being like, what are you grateful for? What went well for the day?
Yes.
And then also externally looking at that, what can you do to help someone this week or whatnot? So there's all just little checkpoints along there. And I mean, most of the answers end up being the same as well. Like, I think I didn't realise for a number of years what the last question is every day. It's like, what are you looking forward to tomorrow? And it took me a long time to pick up that's asked every day. And for me, it's generally the one thing that it always is I get an opportunity or a chance to be the best version of myself, which is a really good thing for me. Obviously, spending time with my kids and whatnot when I've got them, and being attentive and waking up next to them is always written there as well when they're in my care.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just a good little thing that I do as well. I'm not telling everyone that they need to do it. It doesn't work for everyone. I get that, but it's just, I mean, if one person picks it up and it works for them, as we said, speak about. We haven't touched on it, but I've got no doubt that drinking also leads to the suicide and the epidemic that we have in Australia. I think 7 men every day take their lives in Australia. It's pretty bad.
And one of your former teammates in Troy Selwood recently this year was a very sad story.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, the Selwood family are an outstanding family, and Troy and Adam, unfortunately, taking their lives. And I'm not completely over exactly what happened there, but I mean, it happens far too often, and there's no doubt that drinking contributes a lot to a lot of those decisions that people make and get themselves into those troubles.
The statistics there, I believe, are you're 5 times more likely to harm yourself if you're under the influence of alcohol or drugs. Yeah,
and I think I spoke about it before, about those endorphins that it gives you when you exercise. It's hard at the time, but then you have the good ones for the rest of it. And there's no doubt that when you drink, you feel worse for it that next day, and then it leads to those decisions, or it leads to decisions when you are drinking, you make those poor choices, and then the weight's on you for the next period of time, whether it be for 24 hours, 48 hours, or whatever. So I think it has a little bit to answer for on that front as well. I mean, as I said before, I'm in a fantastic position now in life. I mean, financially, I've gone probably a long way backwards, and whatnot, but I'm so content with my life. I mean, I have it all. I get to exercise, I work out, I have my kids, I'm so attentive with them. Also have a great job. I'm setting up a business that's continuing to grow month to month, and I'm excited for where that'll be in 5 years, excited for where my life will be. But I mean, I'm not wishing any day away whatsoever. Who knows? I think there's a famous book as well, I think it's 4,000 weeks or something like that. It speaks about you've got 4,000 weeks on Earth. That goes to about 80 years old. So I'm almost 2,000 of those weeks through, and
halfway, mate.
35, and I'm just so excited for what's next and what's there, but not wishing a day away. There's so much to achieve every day and to be grateful for.
You've just turned 35. Would you pull the boots on and have a game of supers at some point?
So.
My teammates will ask me to ask you.
I've played once. I live really close in Queensland to the Wynnum Footy Club, and they tried to get me, and I literally went for a run. I found running. I used to hate running when I played.
Yeah.
Fitness stuff was just not for me. Like, I'm a decent swimmer. I love training. I love the ball skills and doing that and match simulation and whatnot. But hated running, hated chasing the white line, just running around an oval or set time. So, but I found it, went for a run. I think it was January this year, my knee just popped on me, so I had to go and have surgery, which,
Oh, no.
I just can't turn sideways. So Wynnum tried to get me to play. I've played once in Broken Hill, did a sporty down there. But the other thing I've done as well is I've started to coach at a local team here, Iona Secondary College, a private school just down the end, and love that, working with year 10, 11 and 12s. And I mean, footy's not massive in Queensland. It's certainly growing, but this school it's fantastic. The kids want to learn. They're highly respectful. And we ended up winning. It's the first time that Iona's ever won an AFL championship, which was fantastic. And I can't take any credit for it whatsoever. Lee Harding and his team did an outstanding job for a number of years there, and I came in at the back end. But you just see the passion, and that sort of got a bit of fire going again in the valley. So, you never know where it leads to, but I'd love to do more of that.
And you're giving back and being of service, and it fills your own bucket as well.
It
I
certainly
imagine.
does. And there's one kid that reached out after it and said, "Would I help him?" And his goal is to get drafted. Whether he does, whether he's not enough to or not, he's certainly got the right commitment levels to get there. So I work with him once a week. We do sort of half an hour down at the local ground and just consistently try and do that. Some one-on-one coaching with him, and he's got kicks out of it. I'm going to a local Cooperoo tonight to help some 16, 18-year-olds, and I don't get paid for any of that and don't expect to be paid. But it's, as you said, it fills your bucket. You can go back. Footy gave me so many opportunities throughout my life and opened so many doors to be able to give back in some small way. And even doing this podcast, you said it, if you can touch one person and it affects their life in a positive way, it's the same with footy. I get to go down and I'll only spend, half an hour with them, but if I can pass on some tips and knowledges that I learned throughout my footy career and they pick up one thing from that, then it's been valuable for them, and they'll get a kick out of it. I'll get a kick out of it. It makes me feel good inside. Hopefully it makes them feel good inside.
You're a good man, Tom. Finally, have you got any advice for those that are sober curious or thinking about putting down the can?
I think it's just give it a go. Give it a go. There's absolutely nothing to lose. As we just said before about the 4,000 weeks, you've got those 4,000 weeks here on average. Give it a go for 3 or 4 of those weeks. What's the decisions in life, and another famous quote from, he's not necessarily a mentor, but Paul, that we often speak about, is everything's a deal in life. Everything you do, everything that you enter with someone is a deal, and whether it be that with not drinking, you've got to think about the outcomes. What's the worst thing that can happen, and what's the best thing that can happen? What's the worst thing that can happen by stopping for a month of not drinking? You save money. You're more attentive. Like, there's only positives there, and I think once you get through that first month, I think a lot of people would actually go, well, hang on. There's a lot of positives out of this, and there's not a lot of negatives. As I said, there's still I've still yet to come across a negative to it, and there's no positive to going back to it. So I would say give it a go and tell me what the negatives and positives are of giving grog away for a month.
Excellent, Tom. Thanks so much for your time, mate. I'm really grateful, and thank you for sharing your message.
James.
Much appreciated. Cheers, Tom. Thanks, mate. Wow, what a great conversation with Tom. I always said that this podcast was a podcast for everyone, in sharing the message of recovery and hope. It was a real honour and a privilege to have such a wonderful, well-known guest such as Tom. And I just thought he had such a fantastic message to share for everyone. What's the worst thing that can happen by stopping drinking? Give it a go. Give it 3 or 4 weeks. Have a look at all the positives that it makes in your life. I loved a lot of the tools that Tom shared with us that he's using to enhance the way that he lives his life. He's obviously seeking assistance professionally from a psychologist, which is a great idea for mental health well-being. He's got a mentor, and he seems really content with his life after football, turning up as the best version of himself. There were 2 key things that Tom spoke about that I really took note of as someone who is in recovery myself. The first was that Tom spoke about the tool that he uses, which is using the structure of the Resilience Project work, which is about gratitude and journaling, and how that sort of leveled him out in his day and what he was looking forward to the next day. I would call that keeping inventory. So, reflection. What went well for me today? What could I have done better? And what am I looking forward to tomorrow? Tom also spoke about his volunteer roles, coaching, mentoring the young guy that's looking to get into the AFL, giving back to a game that has given him so much, and even having the conversation with me. That's an act of service. Doing without expecting anything back in return. These are a couple of the principles that I try and have in my own life in recovery that really fill my cup and make me feel more fulfilled as well. Thanks so much for joining us today. I really enjoyed that conversation with Tom. Thanks for joining us today on Slaying Sober. If you're sober curious, in addiction, or know someone who could benefit from listening, please share this episode with them. Jump over to Instagram and say g'day at Slaying Sober Pod, and follow us on Spotify to hear the latest episodes come out. Until then, keep slaying sober. I've been advised by someone smarter than me to mention I'm not a medical professional. The information and topics discussed on this podcast are based solely on the ideas and conversations of the individuals concerned that have lived experience. This content is intended to share a message of hope and support and should not be considered medical advice. For those with urgent concerns, please reach out to a qualified professional or a loved one. Please know that you do not stand alone. Further to this, I'm not a life coach, nor do I seek any monetary gain from this recording. It is purely an act of service. If you can resonate with something today, please share with your friends, leave a comment, and engage with us on Instagram at Slaying Sober Pod. Enjoy today's conversation.